First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And a sincere salutation to all the Akim out there pushing the truth and sincerity by Shem Rokak Wadash. The title of this article is G7 Summit. What is it and why is it in Cornwall? Okay. And it says, world leaders are gathering in the Cornish resort of Carbis Bay for face-to-face meetings at the summit of G7 nations. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and read it because, whenever these world leaders gather, basically it's to establish global policy, and that global policy is not in our favor. Okay, so let's read this. Let's read this article and get some scriptures. Lord willing, this will be edifying. It says, what is the G7 and when is the meeting? The G7, Group of Seven, is an organization of the world's 7 largest so-called advanced economies. They are Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the UK and the United States. Russia joined in 1988, creating the G8, but was excluded in 2014 for its takeover in Crimea. Okay, so yeah, that's because Russia, is very much against, American policy and the way that America handles business. Okay. It says China has never been a member, despite its large economy and having the world's biggest population. Its relatively low level of wealth per person means it is not seen as an advanced economy in the way the G7 members are. And that's a lie. Because China is more advanced, than America. So Russia joined because, Russia's fairly, they're diplomatic. Okay. But pretty soon they're going to go back to that old USSR, and they're going to be the ones to end America ultimately, along with these other nations. All these nations are going to end up hating the whore. Okay. But it's funny how Russia was excluded, and China has never been a member. Okay. And these are the nations that are really going to end America, according to biblical prophecy, especially Russia. But it says here, China has never been a member despite. Okay. So China has never been a member. Interesting, right? Representatives from the European Union are present. Okay. The EU. Okay. The EU is basically is spoken about in the book of Revelations. Okay. Those are those 10 horns. Okay. Of the beast. Okay. So it says, representatives from the European Union are present, while India, South Korea, and Australia have also been invited this year. The G7's Cornwall meeting takes place from Friday 11 to Sunday 13th of June, which, it's over now because today's the 14th. Okay, so let's continue. I want to skip this, and you can read this article, on your own. Just type in this title right here, and I want to get some key points, basically. Let's get this. This is day-to-day life for locals and tourists in Cornwall is affected, including road and path closures. Right, because they don't want the public, around them in their meeting. Although because they've taken pictures of them arriving, okay, to Cornwall, but that's about as far as access goes to this meeting, okay, and who's gonna be there. It says in some areas of St. Ives, residents have to provide proof of address in order to access their homes. The UK government said it was important for world leaders to meet in person and regular COVID testing would take place. Hey, these guys ain't social distancing. Okay. Showing you that's a big hoax. But nonetheless, let's continue. It says, what does the G7 do? It says throughout the year, ministers and officials from the member countries hold meetings, form agreements, and publish joint statements on global events. You see, because ultimately they're pushing for a new world order. Okay, they're pushing for a new world order, and it's not going to tell you here what's their agenda at these meetings. They're just going to put put something, publish something so that the people can think that or have an idea, but we really have no idea because this is all done behind closed doors, and this article says that. Okay, but we know that these meetings are to push their policies on the world. Okay, it says here, throughout the year, ministers and officials from the member countries hold meetings, form agreements, and publish joint statements on global events. You see? Joint statements on global events. Ahead of this year's summit, the G7 finance ministers agreed to make multinational companies pay more tax. The main event is when the G7 leaders come together to talk about the biggest issues of the day, you see? So it says here, what's on this year's agenda? The agenda starts with a dinner at the Eden Project on Friday night, attended by the Queen and members of the royal family. You see, the Queen and the royal family, they don't show up for nothing. Okay, this is for policy to be pushed. Okay, these are what you would call the elites, so-called elites, right? The main topic of conversation for the rest of the summit is COVID recovery, including a stronger global health system that can protect us all from future pandemics. Okay, and we already know what's going on with the health system nowadays. They're pushing that potion. They're getting everybody to be guinea pigs. Everybody's turning into a magnet. And that's so-called going to protect us from future pandemics. Not. It says here, most of the conversations take place behind closed doors, but there are set piece moments on camera, including the obligatory leader's photo, right? So they pose for a photo, okay? And then that's basically, all you're really going to get, because most of the conversation is behind closed doors. Here it is, the elections. The presidential elections are taped. The what do you call them? Press conferences, State of the Union addresses, and all that. Those are for the public, right? But here it is, when they get together, it's behind closed doors. I wonder why. At the end of the summit, the UK, as the host nation, will publish a document called a communique. This outlines what has been agreed by the leaders. Okay. Will there be protests and more police? See, there's people that protest this, man. You see? And the reason why is because they know that they're deciding policy for the world, and and people have no voice. Showing you that voting is a waste of time. Okay. Look what it says here. Demonstrators have been told that they can gather in 4 approved protesting sites. You see? And if you do want to protest, you got to gather where they tell you. Including one in Exeter, more than 100 miles away. You see? Police have said they are not naive enough to expect that every protest will take place solely in those 4 sites, right? Does the G7 have any power? It can pass any laws because it is made up of separate. Oh, it can't pass any laws, Salaki, because it is made up of separate nations with their own democratic processes. However, some decisions can have global effects. Exactly. And they can make laws. Okay. What do you think they're getting together in secret for? Okay. So that was basically the article, man, that I want to go into. I'm going to get a couple scriptures because so like it. The Lord did nothing in secret, man. Okay. Let's get this. This is the book of Job 5:14. It says they meet with darkness in the day. Okay. Let's look at this word darkness.
Strong's H2822. Choshech. Choshech.
Okay. Figuratively, it says misery, destruction, death, ignorance, sorrow, wickedness. All right. So they meet in darkness. Okay. They meet for destruction, death. Okay. And push their ignorant, prideful agendas. Okay. That'll bring sorrow upon the nations. Okay. And ultimately, it's wickedness. They meet with darkness in the daytime, okay, and grope in the noonday as in the night. Let's get this word grope. To feel, grope.
Strong's H4959. Mashash. Mashash.
To feel, by implication, to grope, feel, grope, search. Let's see what we can get right here. To grope, to feel out, to explore with the hands. They feel, wow, what is there right here? They feel the darkness. Yeah. Very much so. Very much so. Okay. These leaders are not gathering together. Okay. The queen, the queen, the decrepit old queen is not gathering, okay, for no reason, She's not coming out of her cave for no reason. This is a meeting, okay, to basically, plan for future global policy. Okay, we know their agenda. We know that they're planning an NWO. Okay, we know that they're planning. See, this is where they plan wars. This is where they plan pandemics. This is where they plan toppling certain countries, certain leaders, to implement what they want to implement. This is where other countries, back others to, for a more sinister agenda. Okay. This is where they get together and basically, frame mischief by a law. Okay. You know what? Let's get that. Matter of fact, let's look it up right there. Where's it at? Right here. This is Psalms 94 and 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? You see, they frame mischief by a law. They write grievances. They do they make up laws, and they say in that article that they can't, but they can, and they do. Okay, they plan things. They plan who's going to be in power. The scriptures say they search out iniquities, and the heart of every one of them is deep. They have the wisdom. Okay, on the left hand side, the Lord has set them up to be the wicked, and they plan things. Okay, how to subjugate every man, woman, and child upon this earth. Okay, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous, right, and condemn the innocent blood, right? They're probably talking about the Israelites, right? In that meeting, no doubt at all. Let's go back. It says, where was I at? Salaka. One second. Something's going on with my... You know what? Shoot. What's going on here?